Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. My name is Patrick Byrne. Joining me in the booth tonight is going to be James Watson, and tonight we have the Indy Pro 2000 cars at the Road America Speedway. This track is one of the greatest tracks in North America. Great natural terrain road course, huge long straightaways, and tight corners, but not many of them. Notably, we have Canada Corner here as you see some of the cars approaching at the end of the straightaway. This is one of the slowest corners on the track. Just about everything else requires you to go as hard and fast as possible. Hoping to see some great action here tonight. Watson, you have a little more experience in these cars, and especially at this track. What is your opinion of what's going to go on here?
I think we're going to see some really great racing. Road America never fails to put on a great show. We always have at least a 2 to 3 car, maybe even 4 car battle all the way to the end. We've seen so many photo finishes at the line. I think we're going to be in for another one.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, I believe it was Carter Lundy and Everett Paddock going side by side down that front straightaway to take the checkered flag. That was the second or third week in a row they had done that side by side. It was fantastic. Right now, we're going to watch along with Ted Burns as he's on his outlap.
Apparently, we have a special guest in the field as well.
Yes, it looks like Robert Wickens has joined the race here tonight. Very excited to see how he's going to do compared to all of these drivers that race this car all the time. It's always fun when we have rear-wheel drivers hop in these cars and really show us what the rear-wheel guys can do compared to the guys who spend all day in a computer chair. Not taking away credit from any of these computer chair guys. They have way more skill than I do. Looking at a 3,800 strength of field tonight, the lowest rated driver in the field is Wes Shire in the number 15 car with a 2772 I rating. And you've seen him in the TNT series. He's not exactly slow. He's still one of the best out there. It's just everyone else in here has an even higher rating than him. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really is. That's just speaks volumes of the level of talent we have in this series. I'm really looking forward to see how the top guys that we see week in, week out go up against noted badass ass kicker like Robbie Wickens.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure to see Robbie Wickens run in the real world plenty of times now. Running, I believe, in the TCR series, the Michelin Pilot Sport Challenge.
We both have run, actually.
Yes, you were down at Daytona a couple years ago. I've seen him race at Daytona twice now and at Lime Rock twice. Ted Burns using up every inch of racetrack going there through turn number 1. Short straightaway into what is turn number 3 for some reason. It's to do with Marshall posts. We don't have to get into it this time here at Road America. Just know that is turn number 3.
We've gotten into it enough times in earlier broadcasts here.
And
just
down this straightaway is 6 more corners as we enter turn 14. Now, through what is the 3rd time on track, you'll be turning your steering wheel. It is a left-hand corner, again, using every inch of the racetrack coming up to the Corvette Bridge. Another flat left-hand corner over a crest. Car's going to want to get upset, not using as much racetrack through there. Flat-out right-hander into another 90-degree left-hand corner. This one with another downhill, very hard braking zone. Swings the car out all the way to the apron. Under the Johnsonville Bridge, through the carousel. This is a part of the track where you have to slow down in the middle of the corner. Typically not something you want to do. Conventional wisdom says hit the brakes, use them all before you get to the corner, and then start to power in. But there's so many apexes through the carousel, it is very hard to do that. Down the back straightaway into Canada Corner. This is the northernmost corner on this racetrack. And also the slowest. Hard braking zone. Almost getting in the 2nd gear. Keeps it in 3rd though. Uses the entirety of the apron. Back through the uphill into the final couple of corners. Finally, one last braking zone. Another 3rd gear corner. Slides the car a little bit, but he's going to come down the straightaway. Huge uphill. This along with some drafting, can lead to some photo finishes and wild passes before you get to the start-finish line, which you see way over there with that tire rack sign. Finally crosses the line, gets his lap in. That lap is going to be a 2-minute 5:96, going to put him on pole so far. Nagisa Yoshikawa going to be a full second behind. Alexander Wesley Hazelworth will ride on board with him. He's currently second quick with a 2-minute 1 second .257. Nicholas Daly goes second quick. Everett Paddock also there. So we take a look now at the number 11 machine of Robert Wickens. Running an old BMW livery. I believe this is from like Formula 2000 over in Europe from a number of years ago, at least a decade ago.
Yeah, I love it. I've always loved those BMW schemes. So cool to see that out there.
One and a half seconds separates pole sitter Ted Burns all the way down to Mike Holler, as all of the drivers still have yet another lap to go. With just 2 minutes remaining in qualifying, I believe this is still the out lap for Robbie Wickens, so it's going to be tough for him to get back around to the line. I'm not sure he's going to have time to put a time on the board.
I think you're right. Yeah, if this isn't lap 1, then he's SOL, honestly.
Actually, I think it will hold it for him and give him just a little bit extra time to finish his timed lap. But Ted Burns goes out there, goes even quicker with a 2-minute 2:81 lap time. Brian Molitor moves himself up to second, almost half a second off of Ted Burns' time. Ted Burns is going to be the guy to beat. Here we are for the first time lap for Robert Wickens. Very smoothly driving the car through the first set of corners. Huge long straightaway here with a slight curve in it. Want to keep it to the right side of the track because that's the shortest way to go down. Kind of straighten off into the braking zone. Pushes it all the way to the 2 marker, down in the second gear. Uses every inch of racetrack there, just like we saw Ted Burns doing. He is green through the first part of the track, so this is going to be faster than his outlap, but not purple, not faster than Ted Burns' time. 20 seconds remaining in qualifying. We'll have to see if there's enough time for him to get all the way around. The clock will strike 0, but it will give him a little bit extra time to get across the line and get a time on the board.
Yeah, but only like a handful of seconds.
Gets a little bit loose there through the kink. Squeezing out every little bit of pace he can out of this car. And nope, it will not give him time to get on the board. So Robbie Wickens going to be starting in the last position.
Last the first challenge incoming.
So as we get our grid underway, Ted Burns going to be your pole sitter. The number 1 car should start in the number 1 spot. Next up will be Everett Paddock starting right beside him, 0.3 off of Ted Burns' time. Row number 2 will have Brian Molitor in the number 5 and Nick Daly in the number 3 machine. Sam Karasala out of Alaska going to be starting 5th in the 12 car, and Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, the law firm, going to be starting side by side with Karasala. Row number 4 will have Brian Labarge on the left side and Darren Fahey on the right side. Darren coming all the way from Australia. It's about nighttime over there. No, I believe it's
Early morning.
early morning. Yeah, I remember he leaves these races and has to drop off to go drop his kid off at school. It blows my mind. Starting on row number 5 will be Frank Wynn on the inside and Carl Emcool starting on the outside to Frankie. Nagisa Yoshikawa in the number 6 machine going to be starting 11th, and Rod Eskew going to be starting in the 12th position. Mike Holler in the number 14 machine will start side by side with Wes Shire. Holler a second and a half off the pace, and Wes even further off with a 1.8 second difference between him and Ted Burns. And Robbie Wickens, unfortunately not able to get a time on the board, but it's going to be fun to see him make his way through the field. Definitely a fast driver, and of course one of the Roval drivers, so he's going to be the number of comparison that we make to our leaders.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of stressful for the cars in the back because, you know, you never want to be the guy that takes out the real world driver. So they're going to race him hard, but they're going to cut him some slack because, like I said, you never want to be that guy.
As we have a full pace lap here around Road America. This is an extremely long lap to try and get around under pace speeds. So we are having a little bit of technical difficulty here. See if we can get this fixed straight.
I think it's happening iRacing wide again, like we had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, not sure what is happening. Yep, I did have a complete iRacing drop, so it looks like iRacing is having a little bit of a hiccup. We're going to try and get back in.
I can confirm that because in the session I am in right now, it completely dropped half the field and nearly dropped me.
It looks like we are back just in time. The field is coming through the final set of corners. Pace car is going to get ready to go in, and we should be able to show you a race. Ted Burns waiting a while to get off the line. Coming down the front straightaway now on the power. Ted Burns gets a huge gap over the rest of the field. Everett Paddock and Nicholas Daly seem to be bump drafting, trying to catch up to Burns going down the front straightaway. Robert Wickens already up to the 11th position. Impressive momentum out of the number 11 car. As we follow along, he's right behind Frank Wynn and Brian Labarge. They're going to be side by side trying to enter Canada Corner. Or excuse me, turn number 5, 7, depending on the Marshall posts. As he does get by Brian Labarge, now he's got to contend with Fahey and Wynn, continuing to run side by side.
He's got to run. Is he going to make it?
Oh, a little bit of contact between Frank Wynn and Fahey.
I think Frank's might be done. That was some serious contact. At the very least, he might have some wing damage.
Some more contact through the field.
Wow, what happened?
See if we can get a look at what happened there. Maybe not. Seems like the functionality doesn't want to work here.
We'll blame it on iRacing again.
A little bit issues throughout the field. Frank Wynn looks like he has another issue there. Excuse me, that was Nagisa Yoshikawa locking up the right front tire. Able to keep it underway. Battle for the lead is still at about half a second. Closest battle on the racing surface right now is going to be for the 4th position between Brian Molitor and Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. It's going to be the 5 and 4 car respectively. Both those guys chasing down Nicholas Daly. As Robert Wickens looks to have had an issue, he is going to be off of the track a lap down now. Very unfortunate what happened to him. As Everett Paddock now going to be trying to chase down leader Ted Burns.
Yeah, I can't imagine we're going to see Everett really battle right now because they're so close to pulling the gap to P3 Nicholas Daly.
I wouldn't be so sure. We have a fresh slate for the championship. It's not like these guys have a huge point lead they're ready to lose just yet.
True, but you want to make it to where you have as little competition as possible. And if you can stomach being in second for a few laps, pull the gap, then you're going to have only one other car to battle for the championship, for the lead of the race. But if you start fighting right now, then you risk not only bringing Nicholas Daly into the fray, but Brian Molitor, the law firm, and so on and so forth.
So back up the front straightaway they go. Everett Paddock now going to be 0.6 of a second behind Ted Burns. Closest battle on the circuit right now is again between Molitor and Hazelworth. Hazelworth trying to get by Molitor as they enter turn number 1. Fastest lap of the race so far is going to go to Ted Burns with a 2-minute 0809. So just about his qualifying full time he's going around this track at. Paddock once again trying to take the dive on Ted Burns. Not quite able to get close enough. Maybe you were right, James. He's not going to try and take it away just yet. He's trying to just keep himself close enough to stay in contention as we reach the end of this race. We're already a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, there's just no real reason to fight, you know?
Whole field remaining single file. Close battle now going on for the third position. That's going to be between Daly and Molitor. We'll try and ride on board with Brian Molitor. As they go down the front stretch, he's going to have a huge draft on Nick Daly. Maybe side by side now, going down the front stretch. Everett Paddock with a new quick time. That is going to be a 2-minute 3:67, well faster than Ted Burns is running right now. Molitor able to get by Nick Daly. Daly going to be on the chase now as they enter turn number 3. Both cars slide just a little bit. Not able to get anything done there, but he's going to have a huge draft as they enter down the run to turn number 4. Oh, backs out of it. Just wants to sit right behind. A little bit of a bump draft even as they enter the braking zone.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily a bad idea, you know. They've got to get to work trying to see if they can reel back the top two. And if they start fighting, like I said earlier, they are going to be SOL.
2.5 separating Brian Molitor to Everett Paddock. That gap is not shrinking. Hazelworth just behind these two in front of him. He's trying to put himself in this fight as well. It's something that Nick Daly is going to have to contend with as long as trying to pass Brian Molitor. These guys make the run through the kink, up into the final corner. Oh, huge slide out of Daly, somehow saves that car.
Unreal, how did he do that?
As Hazelworth now is close enough to make the dive into turn number 1, chooses not to. All 4 of those cars now going to stay single file. Sam Carasala now getting close enough to join this fight. That number 12 Alaska Airways machine, absolutely beautiful paint scheme that he had put together for that one. Try and get some close-up shots of it. Not sure if you can see, but there are the stars of the Alaskan flag on the side pod there by the logo. It's super, super cool what they've done with that one.
It really is. They knocked that livery out of the park.
Little bit of a lockup there out of the number 4 machine of Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. Going to have him drop back just a little bit. Gap now up to half a second separating him and Daly.
Yeah, not too worse for the wear, though. You can handle having a half a second back. You'll make that up easily on the straightaways. It's a 1.5 seconds is where you have the problem.
Yeah, gap between Paddock and Molitor. Oh, Nick Daly easily gets by Molitor there down the front straightaway in the kink. But that gap now between Daly and Paddock is almost 2.5 seconds. We'll call it 2.5. It's about 2.4 seconds. Everett Paddock once again closing the gap, getting close enough to make a dive into turn number 1, but doesn't do it. Backs out of it, gets on the brakes. Not trying to put the fight to Ted Burns just yet, as we are approaching the halfway point of the race. So we have side-by-side battles now going on for the 3rd and 4th positions. Brian Molitor able to get by Daly, and Hazelworth almost looking to take a stab at it too.
Yeah, this is a heck of a scrap we have going on right now, while the top 2 are just on a Sunday drive.
Yeah, while they're just putting around, following each other, these guys are actively trying to get themselves up in that 3rd position. Each one of them thinks they can catch up to those leaders. I think they're too far back now. That gap is up to 3 seconds between 3rd and 2nd.
Yeah, I don't think it's them jostling to see who can catch up. I think they've just kind of made peace with the fact that they might not be catching up, so now it's just on like Donkey Kong for P3.
As they climb the hill once again, Daly is going to have a huge draft, and so will Hazelworth as they approach turn number 1. That gap less than a 1/10 of a second now. Daly swings out to the inside. They're going to be side by side in the turn number 1. Molitor wisely backs off of it. Daly is able to enter the corner at full steam and take over that 3rd position. Molitor is not happy sitting in 4th, though. He's going to try and take it back as they approach the now downhill run to turn number 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, honestly, we're going to see leapfrogging like this go on pretty often until we get to the white flag. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of them try to game it a little bit and try to get to where they're the trailing car entering turn 5.
This car's undergone a lot of changes since we saw those photo finishes, though. I am not sure I want to be the trailing car going up the front straightaway. I just don't feel like you can get that huge draft and huge side-by-side like we used to.
I agree. I think that's why you might see some guys try to sit back, make the pass into turn 5, and then just try to hold them off afterwards.
How about in the Canada corner? Almost looking to go 3 wide through there. Hazelworth has to back out of it.
Oh, that's not a place you want to pass. Like, you can pass, but oh man, it's so easy to go wrong there.
It almost worked for Hazelworth. He had to back out of it. They still stay the way they are, but Hazelworth almost got a 2-for-1 special there.
Yeah, he sure came close. I just have so many bad memories of that corner. All my homies ate Canada corner. It's just mean.
It is my favorite corner on this track. The only thing is, I hate that you have to buy a bottle of bagged milk. Or I guess buy a bag of milk every time you go through there. The car gets so much heavier by the end of the race.
Yeah, then you're having to steer it with a hockey stick. Just doesn't make any sense.
But we do only have 5 laps remaining in this one. Everett Paddock still following just behind Ted Burns. Not making a move just yet, but with less than half the race distance to go, I'd imagine he's going to get ready to start making something happen.
Yeah. Because, like, I think the battle for the lead is kind of wide open at this point. Like, they're not going to be caught by 3rd on back. So now they're just free to just kind of throw haymakers at each other.
Yeah, it is a 5-second back.
I hope they will.
Down to Brian Molitor, so really nothing to lose here by going side by side.
Nope.
Other than maybe making contact.
They'll be fine.
These guys almost look like we're watching AI drive. Every single thing they do is just so on the mark, so precise. I haven't seen a mistake out of either driver.
Patrick, you know as well as I do that some of the AI wish they could drive as well as these two.
Well, that's because I only programmed them to be 80 years old and inconsistent.
You mean Requin isn't supposed to be a good driver? Next, you're going to tell me Timothy Wattsman also is supposed to be programmed to be bad.
They are.
It takes after its namesake that way. It makes me so proud.
As Daly makes a dive to the inside in the turn number 5. Gets by Molitor. Only 4 laps to go. This is kind of what you were saying, is you want to make the move there and hopefully try to keep it to the end of the lap. Next passing opportunity for Molitor will be in the Canada corner. See if he can get it done. I know he's running a little less downforce on that car. He's already made passes through the kink here, so maybe he'll be able to do it again.
Now, I wonder if we're going to get some of these guys testing to see what they can do. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Molitor kind of hangs back coming out of the final corner and sees what kind of run he'll get coming to the line to see if that even is a viable strategy, or if he's got to make sure to get the pass done in turn 5 or Canada corner or somewhere.
Yeah, backed off a little bit, like you said, maybe to see what he can do coming down this front straightaway. The only concern with this is you're basically showing your cards. But he's going to have the draft now as they come up the hill. Doesn't look like he's gaining a whole ton of time as you see the cars approaching over the hill. Across the line, not even close, has to wait till after the start-finish line to pull out and make the move. But they are side by side coming into turn number 1.
Well, there you go. Answers that question.
Yeah, the leading car is going to have a hiccup in that last corner if the drag race is going to work. Only 3 laps remaining for our leaders. Those guys still not battling too hard. Gap between those two is about half a second. Still closest fight on track right now is currently going to be between Daly and Hazelworth for that 4th spot, but both those cars not far behind the number 5 car of Brian Molitor. Daly now coming through the kink in the Canada corner, going to try and take the inside from Molitor. He has the advantage going into the corner. Molitor has to back out off of it. They come up over the hill again. It's going to be 2 laps to go this time by. Only 2 more circuits around the Road America racetrack up here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Hazelworth now going to take the dive on Molitor. Going to be side by side in the turn one. Backs out of it for some reason. Not sure why he did that. Only 2 laps to go. I'd be thinking you're going to try and send every move you can get.
What does he have up his sleeve?
I would have made it there because you still have to pass Daly. You're close enough to get Daly there. And that would be a 3rd place position on the podium.
Yeah, like if you're where Alex is, you don't have the luxury of being able to wait and plan your move. You kind of gotta go while the getting's good.
Molitor to the inside in turn number 5. Almost contact between those 2 cars.
Whoa.
Able to make it back up the hill safely. Daly hangs on to the 3rd position. These guys are getting dicey up there. As we take another peek back at your leaders, these guys still just looks like they're going for a Sunday drive, not trying to make any moves on each other. I'm excited to see what they do on the last lap.
It's gonna be a slap fight on the last lap. Hopefully, it's gotta be.
But we go back to looking in on your battle for 3rd. These guys still, Molitor going to have another run down through the kink, in the Canada corner, not quite close enough to go side by side. Maybe not. Takes the dive to the right. They are going to be side by side. Has to back out of it before they get to the corner. Into the final corner for the 2nd and last time in this race. See if Molitor makes the move in the turn number 1. He's going to be close enough. Daly going to be snaking down the front stretch, trying to break the draft. And it is the last lap for the leaders, so we will go and take a look at those guys. Not quite close enough to get any moves done. Brian Molitor gets the pass made on Daly before they get into turn number 1. Keeping an eye on timing and scoring, seeing if I could see Paddock make a move, but I don't want to take my eyes off of this battle here for the 3rd position.
Here's the question, did he make that move too early?
That is one thing we're going to have to find out. Everett Paddock close enough to start making a move on Ted Burns. In the turn number 5, looks to the inside, not quite able to make it there though. Going to stay right behind Ted Burns, keep that gap at right about 0.3 of a second. Daly able to get by Molitor once again. Those cars are side by side, and Hazelworth trying to join the fight, and Carsala's right there too. Almost contact there between Daly and Molitor.
Ooh.
As they go into the carousel, we'll go back and take a look at Ted Burns and Everett Paddock as they make the run down in the Canada corner. Doesn't look like Paddock is going to be close enough to get anything done. Take a stab back at this battle as they go through the kink. This is going to be Molitor's last chance before they get to the front straightaway. Stays in it. They're going to be side by side in the Canada corner. Do we see contact here?
They're trying.
Molitor is able to get the move done. Daly is still there. Nope, Daly's going to fall back behind. As your leaders now coming out of the final corner into the drag race up the hill. Paddock is not close enough to get it done. Up over the hill, back into the frame. Ted Burns is going to be your winner at Road America. Everett Paddock going to fall behind in 2nd. Drag race to the line for the 3rd position. It's going to be Brian Molitor. Then Nicholas Daly, Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, and Sam Carsala. Darren Fahey comes up across the line, going to be in the 7th position. Nagisa Yoshikawa 8th. Carl Lemkool going to be 9th. Mike Holler 10th, and Wes Shire going to come home in the 11th position. Frank Wynn still making his way through the final set of corners. That car is going to come home in the 12th position. And Robbie Wickens is still out there on the racing surface. Maybe not. I am not able to grab a shot of Robbie Wickens.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. Like, he lost a lap, but like he completed the entire race. So I just don't know what caused him to lose that lap. Connection issue, maybe?
Very possible with the way basically everything dropped out. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a little bit of trouble getting back into the server. But Ted Burns is going to be your winner here tonight at Road America. Wait to see if we do get any victory donuts or anything out of that car. Nope, looks like he is just going to park it and call it a day right there. So Ted Burns out of Illinois going to be your winner tonight. Everett Paddock out of the Midwest going to be just 2/10 of a second shy of taking the win. Brian Molitor, Nicholas Daly, and Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, along with Sam Carasala, made for a fantastic battle here for that third position. All of those cars battling very, very tough. Darren Fahey out of Australia going to come home in the 7th position. Yoshikawa 8th, Lemcole 9th, and Mike Holler coming home in the 10th position. Rounding out your field will be Wes Shire in the 11th position. Frank Wynn going to be the last car on the lead lap in the 12th position. Robbie Wickens going to finish 13th. Brian Labarge and Rod Eskew having to retire early after some trouble in the race. And first up for an interview, we will bring in race winner Ted Burns. Ted Burns put an absolute schooling on the field tonight. You even made a whole race guide before the days leading up to the race, gave your setup to everyone, and you still kicked everyone's butts out there. How'd you do it, man?
I mean, Road America is my home track. It's my favorite track. Turned more laps here than anywhere else, so it kind of gives me a little bit of an unfair advantage. So, I felt totally confident giving away all my tips and secrets and even setups to everyone else because, I don't know, just, something clicks with this track, and I just love driving here. So it was just a pleasure to go turn some laps.
Hell yeah, man. That was almost perfect. I compared you and Everett out there to some AI driving around on the circuit. Every move was just perfect. Didn't step a tire over into the grass. Didn't get the car super loose. Just did what you had to do and ran away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, Everett played nice, and we were just able to get a gap and just start turning out some laps. So I think I gave him fast lap there in the race though, but it was good fun. He definitely kept me honest. Couldn't make any big mistakes, but I think it was an awesome drive. There are a lot of small little mistakes there, but that's for everyone else to try and find and see if there is a little bit of weakness there. But I can guarantee you I could have been faster. So.
Now, do you plan on running the full championship again this season?
Yeah, for sure. I should be here pretty much, I think, every week. Maybe there's 1 week I might not be able to make it, but otherwise I plan to be here all of season 1. So hopefully see you guys back up here in the booth next week and every week for that matter.
Oh yes, sounds good to me. Well, got any sponsor plugs, thank yous you want to plug in tonight?
For sure. Got to thank Downforce Racing. I mean, it was one fast race car. It was just a dream to drive out there. Didn't quite get Nick up there on the podium, but I know he gave it a hard fight all the way to the end. So glad to see the team doing well. Got to thank everyone for coming out and driving this car. Saw some new faces this week, and so anyone watching that wants to come out, make sure you check out. I have a thread in the forums. I'll be posting setups each week with lap guides, also on YouTube. So make sure to check those out if you're thinking about coming out and driving the car. It's awesome the turnout we had tonight. Got 2 splits, so hopefully we can keep that momentum going the rest of the season. And of course, thanks to you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast again. I can't wait to go back and watch it.
Hell yeah! Well, thank you very much for coming out, and hopefully we're speaking to you again next week.
Thanks. See you guys.
And next up for an interview is going to be the number 2 machine of Everett Paddock. Unfortunately, coming home in second tonight. Tried to make a stab at it in the last lap, not able to win the drag race off the final corner. But you still put a whooping on the rest of the field, almost 10 seconds ahead of third place Brian Molitor, man. You were on fire tonight.
Well, that was courtesy of first place dragging me around there. I just didn't have enough for Ted, but I was good enough to keep with him, but not enough to get up beside him.
Oh man, at any point were you hoping maybe he put a tire wrong or just enough to get you side by side with him? Did you think you had anything for him if he made a mistake?
Firstly, you're pretty committed to stay with Ted like that. You have to be, damn near 10 tenths the whole time. And so you got to be a little bit careful what you wish for. He gets a little bit sideways, I probably collect him. So I don't know. Yeah, obviously I wanted to wanted to find a place to be able to get up by him, but he just drove a really clean race. He looked like he was running laps like his lap guide that he published this week.
Well, yeah, I was just telling him, like, it's a little cocky there. Making the lap guide, giving everyone your setup, and still going out there and whipping everyone's butts. It's pretty impressive, if you ask me.
Yeah, 10-4. 10-4.
Well, you got any sponsor plugs and thank yous you want to get in tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank my teammates, the TNT guys and the DFR guys. It was looked like it was a tough run back there for a few guys, but it was a good run tonight. Thanks for putting on the broadcast, guys.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming out. Hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Have a great weekend. See ya.
And that was Everett Paddock. Doesn't look like we're going to get Brian Molitor in for an interview here tonight, but he put on an absolutely fantastic show as well. Fantastic back and forth racing with Nicholas Daly. I had a lot of fun watching this one. How about you, James?
Yeah, it was a great race. I hope the folks at home appreciated the broadcast. We had a lot of technical difficulties to deal with. I had to watch the race a little tape delayed, so that's why my reactions weren't as over the top as they usually are. But yeah, it was. Thankfully, we were still treated to an absolutely awesome show, all things considered.
Yep. Updated a bunch of software about 2 hours before the race started, and it broke everything. So we were in scramble mode, got it to work enough, got a good show on the air, and hopefully all you folks at home enjoyed it a whole ton. Next week, we're coming back at you with some racing on the Silver Crown side, starting on Monday. Tuesday night, I believe we'll have some more shock for you. Wednesday is Sim Racers Club, of course. They have their finale out there at the Phoenix Raceway. And then Thursday, we're back at you once again with the Indy Pro 2000 cars. Don't forget, this Saturday, we have Soda and a Smile. If you're not signed up, if you're not in the TNT Discord, get there. That is discord.gg/TNT Racing. We're hoping for a full field of 60 cars. It's going to be the IR01, the IR18 Indy car, the PM18 Pro Mazda car that we saw here tonight, and the Silver Crown machine racing around iRacing Super Speedway for an hour. It is an absolute blast. We do it every year. This will be the 4th time we've done it. And I don't think I've had a bad one yet. It is the most fun I think I've had on iRacing all year. So if you're not in it yet, feel free to join. It will be an open hosted. You don't need to be in the Discord. All you got to do is show up. On that note, though, I'd like to wish you all a fantastic night, and we will see you next time.